Hey everybody, welcome back to Northernlion Plays a Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Plus 27 wins in a row. Tomo, can you believe it? Some of my colleagues have 900 or 1,000 wins in a row. Oh my god. Not a good impression. That's okay. You know, there's only one chance to make a good first impression. We made that impression years ago. Now we can kind of phone it in. 3-4 GS, 7 DP8. Feeling like how could we lose? 3 HP Lazarus? I will say, sorry, just working the caffeine through here this morning. I don't have an excuse, it's not particularly early. It's like, you know, 9:40 a.m. Our daughter's been getting like, you know, legitimately like 11 hours of sleep a night. I have nothing to complain about now. At least 4 now, but you know, we go through fits and spurts for sure. Anyway, just kind of a slow start this morning. It happens, you know. Some mornings you wake up and you're like good to go. Some mornings you wake up and you're like a little groggy, you know. You just don't feel like you're quite at your maximum power level yet. And the worst part is, like, I know why. I had a dream last night, one of those like irrational dreams, but it was so scary it woke me up at like 5:40 a.m. and I couldn't fall asleep for like an hour. And it was like, all I remember is that I was involved, and this is how you know it was fanciful. I was involved in some sort of high-tech, you know, secret company. And I just remember my boss was like, you know, we're making the most unbelievable, like, algorithms that you've ever seen. Like, it's all about algorithms. So I guess I was working at YouTube. Anyway, I guess, like, we made an algorithm that was so powerful it attracted the attention of, like, a malevolent race of alien creatures, who then, like, and this was what was terrifying about it, is that it wasn't like we saw, like, a spaceship on the horizon, and then, you know, oh, they're gonna be here in, you know, 60 minutes. It was literally just, like, normal people are, you know, enjoying lunch or whatever, and then like a millisecond later, billions of freaking, like, you know, nanobots like rained down from the heavens and just started like eating people from the inside out, and like they got into the computer network and, like, you know, found all the secrets and the files and stuff like that, and then, you know, people were exploding. Like, man, it was a disturbing dream. Not actually like rattled by it. I'm more affected by the fact that that interrupted my sleep slightly, even though I still got a good amount. But just one of those things where, you know, you're like, what the heck, brain? I thought you were supposed to be on my side. And it's like, yeah, you know what he'd really like to dream about right now? You know what would really help out, you know, his mental health? What if he dreamed that we're invaded by a terrifying species of aliens, you know? This is a spicy one. I actually think we should not have picked up that Spirit Heart earlier. I think we should become Dark Judas now. There exists 2 schools of thought on this. You could become Dark Judas after your first floor or your first deal with the devil, but I kind of like, you know, a bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. And if we get anything extra out of this, I mean, that could be an arcade right there, then even better. But this is it's pretty solid. I don't necessarily believe, like, I have an aunt who is kind of, I mean, I don't know how to phrase it, like, politely and perhaps, let's say, correctly. She's kind of, like, enamored with the occult. Like, she's always talking to me when I was a kid about, like, vampires and stuff like that. And I remember she would always, like, ask me about my dreams and be like, oh, well, if you dream about, like, a ladder, that means, you know, you're feeling hungry or something like that. I don't necessarily subscribe to the idea that there's like one-to-one meaning on dreams like that, because it just doesn't pass the first principles, like, smell test for me, just for me. What you're into, whatever you're into, right? Like, I believe that the stock market is supposed to be a reflection of rationality, and I mean, at this point, I might be better off with dream theory. Am I right, fellow memers? But anyway, but yeah, I wonder what, like, my brain became preoccupied with. That was like, you know, I want to open like one of those dream dictionaries where you look up what you dreamed and then you figure out, you know, how you were feeling. Malevolent alien species destroys Earth instantaneously in a single blink of an eye. Oh, you had too much dairy. I had too much dairy last night. That's the problem. If you don't want to dream about aliens, you shouldn't have so much dairy, dude. Little disrespectful to TNT that in, like, the one situation in which I should have used it, I just chose not to. I apologize. It was not my intention to insult TNT. Now, we don't know what the items are right now. Look at that. Redemption. From our deal with the devil. Because of Curse of the Blind, we don't know what our items are going to be. But we do have 5 red heart containers, possibly 6. After this item right here, so we'll probably, what did I tell you? We'll probably take just about everything. Totally fine. Better than what we had. Honestly, this was all totally fine. I hope, you know, like, let me put it this way. You could do better on a deal with the devil than that. But you could certainly do a lot worse. We got a beat on some guppy potentiality. Cambion Conception is actually, like, insanely good if you've got the runway to make it work. You kind of need to get some blood banks to go along with it for sure, which is why we're doing some exploration. But certainly no... Oh, look at that. We did and we didn't. Certainly no reason to believe that this run is in any sort of material danger right now. Ideally, I'm just trying to think. Ideally, you would give me enough money to go to the shop, or just... Honestly, IV bag would actually probably be the best, and it's fine, like, I'm not upset. It's always nice when you end up in a situation where, like, you know, the best case scenario is really good, but then the worst case scenario is also pretty sweet. Like, essentially, I was like, oh man, I'd really love to get IV bag. And then Blood Bag showed up, and I was like, oh man, only an HP and speed upgrade? Frick. Only a set it and forget it style upgrade I never have to think about ever again? So anyway, that's my day. Or my morning so far. It's been pretty relaxed, like, except for the dream thing. Doesn't really, I don't know, dreams are weird, right? I don't know if they're, I mean, they're kind of fascinating. Just in the sense that, like, you can logically know that a dream is not real. And I don't mean in the moment, because, you know, when you're dreaming, who knows, you know? But you can, like, wake up and be like, that was obviously a dream. But it can, like, emotionally kind of stick with you. Even though you know it wasn't real, like, it was just a simulation. It's crazy, man. Like, I've told this story before, but, like, every now and then... I wouldn't... Like, my number one recurring nightmare is that I'm, like, going to teach English in South Korea. I'm on the plane. For some reason in my head, either desperation or, like, naivete has pushed me back to my old job. And the worst part about it is that I'm like, well, we don't want that. In the moment, I'm like excited. I'm like, I'm going back to Korea. It's gonna be awesome. And then it slowly dawns on me. It's like, wait a minute. I forgot I didn't really like this that much. And then I like the rest of the dream is like, oh man, it's like a whole freaking year of this. Like, it's not as bad as an alien invasion. Don't get me wrong, but you know, it's kind of a bummer. A dream I've had a couple of times, which is, it messes with you. And I know this is minkus, but, you know, just work with me on this one. I dream that, like, I don't dream that I murdered somebody, like, in the dream. But I dream that, like, in my distant past, there was a murder that I did. And now the cops are, like, closing in on me or something like that. And then I wake up, and I'm, like, anxious. I'm like, oh my god, the cops are closing in. They're gonna find out about that murder that I did. And it takes me, like, legitimately 30 seconds to remember I've never killed anybody. Like, the first, like, 30 thoughts I have in the morning are like, what the, they're gonna, what, and I don't even remember where, like, the body is or whatever. Oh yeah, because I've never actually committed murder. Or any of the murder-related crimes, even. The dream, it messes with you temporarily. It's just a bizarre kind of, like, testament to, you know, the unpredictable nature of human psychology, right? The irrationality of the human mind. That being said, I do have, I have good dreams from time to time. I mean, it's not exclusively nightmares. It's just like I don't want to tell you about my good dreams. I dreamed I had a nice stay at the beach. That's not as exciting as, like, you know, the nanobot invasion. That one was a little bit more noteworthy, I think. I don't have any keys, dude. Yeah, dreams are wild. And then we don't have to go through this song and dance every single time. Every time I mention, like, dreams in an Isaac episode, there's like 10 comments from people that are like, I haven't dreamt in like 5 years. And then I go, hey brother, you need a tolerance break. And then everybody goes, oh, what, dude? NL knows about that. I thought he was born boring on this. Anyway, I'm not involved with that sort of lifestyle. Or that sort of habit, if you will. But I have friends who are, and occasionally they're like, yeah, you know, I haven't dreamt in a decade. Then I, like, took a couple of weeks off from it, and all of a sudden, whoa, dude. Nanobot invasion. Orange mocha frappuccino. Same energy. Anyway. This is fine. I obviously, like, it hasn't been the best floor for not taking stupid amounts of damage. But on the other hand, that was a little spooky there. Still feeling very confident. If we don't get our deal with the devil on this floor, like, it literally does not matter. The other weird thing about dreams is that sometimes they'll be juxtaposed. Like, I have vague recollections of the fact that I had more than one dream last night. I'm pretty sure, like, dream 1 was, like, I was just shopping at, like, a shopping mall. And then you're like, oh, that's pretty boring, but that's not so bad. And then, you know, dream 2 was, like, all of humanity's been wiped out. It's like a... You ever go to the drive-in? I mean, I guess they're kind of still a thing now, right? Like, because of COVID, people are going to drive-ins on occasion, but... you know, when I remember I went to the drive-in when I was a kid. Movie 1 was always for the kids, because parents would take their kids, and then movie 2 was for, like, the... I wouldn't say for the adults, but it was, like, PG-13 and up. So I was, like, 5 or 6. My parents took me to the drive-in, and we saw the movie Monkey Trouble, which is just yet another classic in that genre of child and chimpanzee capers. I don't know, some kind of, like... You know, he's escaped from an animal testing facility, and the only person that can keep him safe is a little 8-year-old, you know? And I was like, Monkey Trouble's sick, dude. That was a great movie. And then, right after that, was The Mask. And I just, like, I've gotten over it. I've seen The Mask since, and I think it's a good movie. I think it's a lot of fun. But, I guess at this point we might as well, right? Oh, we already did. I guess we'll be leaving our item room behind, unfortunately. But, I just remember being so scared at, like, multiple times during that movie. And you can't blame me, you know, you're like a little kid. You're like 6 years old, something like that. I don't know, Monkey Trouble, I feel like it came out in, like, 1993. Monkey Trouble and the Mask, 1993. I was like 4 to 5 years old, man. It's spooky. Anyway, what was I getting at? I don't know. The drive-in? Dream 1 was like, hey, let's go buy some pants at H&M. And then Dream 2 was like, everyone you love has been infused with gray goo. Not Grogu. That would be cute. That would be a cute species of benevolent aliens. How did I not get hit? Do those purple beams not do damage? They just summon spiders? I don't know. Well, that's a ripoff right there. To not get a deal with the devil after that incredible showing, it hurts me slightly, but still feeling, you know, quite peachy about this run. Still feeling good. Anyway, so that's my day. Apart from that, nothing too special. In fact, I always appreciate when there's like a dream, because at least it gives me something to talk about. Apart from that, the most exciting thing that happened to me yesterday is like I went to the grocery store at like 9 p.m. And my sense of time is like, it's so distorted now because of the newborn. And it's not really distorted, like what it actually is like normal. Like it's what people that work like a 9-to-5 job think of time as. Like I finally recalibrated myself to sanity after being a YouTuber and streamer for so long. You know, I've managed to do the impossible and get on like a normie sleep schedule. All it took was having an infant. I don't want to open that yet. So you know, I wanted to make some cold brew last night, but we had put the baby you know, down in her crib for the night, and the coffee grinder that I mean, obviously the coffee grinder makes a lot of noise. It goes brrr as it grinds the coffee, which is what it does, is a coffee grinder. We'll at least pick it up here, but yeah, we're happier to not roll with that for sure. Anyway, so a coffee grinder, you put the beans in it, you press a button, you know, and while you're holding the button down, it grinds the coffee. It's what you use to turn beans into coffee grounds, and you use the grounds, you know, plus water to make cold brew coffee, which is a cold form of... I'm trying a new bit. It's a guy who very annoyingly over-explains everything, also known as my impression of myself. So what you need to know before you understand this joke is, you know, thousands of years ago, blah, blah, blah. You get the... I'm making a joke at my own expense. But my wife was like, you can go to the grocery store and just like buy some coffee, you know, buy some cold brew or something like that. And I was like, are you crazy? I didn't actually say that, but I gave her the look that was like, I don't need to say it. Then I looked at my, like in my head, I was like, are you crazy? It's like the middle of the night. I looked at my phone, it was 8:15 p.m. And I went, you know what? All right, I'll be right back. And I, you know, quick little trip to the grocery store to get some cold brew. But I felt like, you know, have you ever had the experience of going to like a 24-hour business between the hours of like, let's say 2 a.m. and sunrise? And you kind of feel like, you know, you're part of like a different society when you're in there. You're like, oh, I'm not like other people. I'm the guy who goes to Walmart at 1 a.m., you know? Ooh, it's just a different aura in Walmart at 1 a.m. That's how I felt when I went to the grocery store at 8:15. I felt like I had traversed into like another world. Yo, that's sick. Like I had entered a different plane of existence. Like I'm no longer, you know, hanging out with the same people that I'm not the same. I've changed. Now I'm the kind of guy who, like, when I'm in the grocery store, if you look out the window, there's no sun. You know what I mean? No? Okay. Well, like, look. You probably had the opposite then. If maybe you're a night owl and occasionally you find yourself like having to be up at like 7 in the morning. Don't you feel like you're part of a different society at 7 in the morning? You know, don't you find yourself being like, oh, I'm seeing like a whole new crop of people I never see before. Right? Yeah, anyway, hold on. I got a Discord message here. Just gotta check and see if it's les important. Okay. It is important but not urgent. Not that you needed the... You know, the skinny on that one. Did we just... Okay, we got Dark Bum. It's actually extremely good. I don't want to take this one too far. Because we are like... It's gonna be tough to lose this. But we don't yet quite have... And I don't really want to take that, because if it's bad trip, we're gonna be in a world of hurt. But we don't quite have... You know, what I would want to see to be like, we're set. We're almost there. Like, on defense, as soon as we see enough red hearts, we're kind of like good to go at this point. I'll pick that one up because I want to preserve my own sanity here. But we are still lacking in the damage department. It's not uncommon. You know, we've gone through it a lot recently, where runs are a little damage weak. And I know how it sounds, because, you know, we do have one of the better damage items in the game in the form of Pentagram, and, you know, Book of the Dead is nothing to sneeze at, and so on and so forth, but a little extra damage would go a long way. And at the grocery store, you might ask, NL, what'd you get? What did I get at the grocery store? Oh, that's pretty good. So at the grocery store, I got a little cold brew. For sure. No doubt about it. Anybody who says I didn't, they don't know what they're talking about. I have found myself caught, and there's things at the grocery store, multiple things fall into this category. Hamburger patties and hamburger buns, hot dogs, hot dog buns, tortilla chips and salsa, etc., etc. But I found myself caught in the cycle. And what cycle is this? By the way, I think we will roll this. Just because it's better for Cambion conception. And we can... I mean, it kind of nullifies Dark Bum to be using all of our red hearts to get extra plays for Cambion conception. But I think over time... Well, I mean, not even over time. We really just need to get, like, you know, Succubus or Incubus, and then we're kind of, like, off to the races. Anyway. Plus, we can do this. I got caught in the cycle of 2 paired foods that you buy in different quantities, and thus constantly having to buy one or the other every single time you go to the grocery store, unless you have the strength to break the cycle. That's kind of what's going on right now. So last time I was at the grocery store, I bought some cheese, and then I said, you know what, you've been good. You deserve some crackers as well. So I bought some crackers, but I bought too much cheese. As a result, we ran out of crackers before we ran out of cheese. So then when I was at the grocery store yesterday, I decided we got to make up that deficit, so I bought some crackers. But now I'm looking at my supply, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure the cheese and the crackers are going to run out. Like, the cheese is now going to run out early. I got no problem just eating some crackers. That was probably like 30% of my diet until the age of 15 or 16. Eat like half a box of like bacon dippers every night, and then be like, why am I a little chubby, you know? Didn't know as much about nutrition back then. I mean, the Subway Sandwich Corporation convinced everybody that eating a foot of bread was healthy. What a world, right? Anyway, what was I talking about? I got no problem just eating, or just eating the cheese for that matter. But I definitely, you know, I'd rather have them in conjunction. Like, cheese and crackers is like the perfect snack. So now I don't know, man, I'm just caught in the cycle now. You've got to get yourself together. Got yourself stuck in a moment that you can't get out. You know what I mean? You too? From the Beautiful Day album. All that you can't leave behind. I nearly did that. Dream situation here. Oh my god, I can't believe we're all on Necropolis 1. Dream situation here. A shop with red hearts and a reroll machine. We don't need much. It's not much, but it's honest work, you know? If we could just get... Oh, and we're gonna get a deal with the devil here, so, like, I really feel like this is where things are gonna get... Things are gonna pop off here. Just my 2 cents. If not on the shop here, then like, you know, on the deal with the devil. I mean, if you're asking, you know, like Valentine's Day's coming up, maybe you'd be interested in giving me 2 more guppy items while I already have Hive Mind? That wouldn't be so bad. Mr. Meeseek's also not so bad, but I'm gonna, you know, keep it a little spiced here. Use my money for my own purposes. Because this is really, like, I'm basically making a thesis, you know? Is Cambion conception good enough to get rid of Book of the Dead? We will, ain't no lie, baby, bye, bye, bye. We did get a Little Brim. Little Brim is a very, very good item. Certainly do not feel like we're not getting our money's worth on that one. I mean, the Humbling Bundle is incredible. Spirit Hearts are doing awesome work. Let's chalk up a luck upgrade in here as well. And unfortunately, that's kind of the end. Maybe by spider mod, just because, and you know what? Maybe by one of each of these, just because we can. But that turned out pretty well. Little Brim is a really nice upgrade, and you know we still got a lot of time to go before we have to, you know, audit how Cambion Conception did for us. Oh, and dude, my stubbornness almost prevented me from taking Bent Spoon or whatever the heck this trinket is called. Because I was like, we're never going to use it. And then would you look at that? We probably got the familiar for whom it's most valuable. I think. I guess there is other stuff to talk about. We actually hit like a major milestone. Like the most major milestone we've hit in a long time in terms of YouTube subscribers. We hit 850,000 YouTube subscribers. You know, and you got to put it into context. Like, there's some YouTube channels out there, they grow so fast. Even if they're, like, numbers-wise, like, smaller than me. They could be, like, you know, they don't even celebrate the 100,000 intervals because they're, like, you know, if I celebrate, you know, like 300,000, there's no point because we're going to hit 400,000 next week, you know? They're, like, riding on a wave. It's how the business works. We've been in, like, I mean, this is the first 50,000 interval subscriber milestone, I genuinely think, in like 4 years. We hit, I mean, I don't remember when we hit 750, let's put it that way. We hit 800 at some point within the last 4 years, and it's really only been like within this year. and 2020 as well, but the numbers have started to move in the right direction by my standards again, so thank you for that. It's very exciting. You know, YouTube's been going fine. Like, it has ups and downs. And it's been going fine for a long time. You know, it's not like I've gone through periods where I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep this up. You know, even when it's, like, not going gangbusters, even when there's, like, low growth, for example, like, people, I'm blessed, they enjoy watching, for the most part. Obviously, people wash out and leave, but then, you know, new people come in at like an okay rate, and then, you know, some of the people who leave, they come back in like 5 years, and they're like, whoa, you're still here. And I'm like, shut up and pog, dummy. So, I want to clarify, this is not like the kind of turnaround story where you're like, oh, like he almost went out of business, and now things are going really well. It's inspiring, you know? It's more boring than that. It's like numbers were kind of like a little uninspiring for a while, and now we got them moving in the right direction again, which is exciting. So thank you for that. Obviously, collaborations have helped, but chess in particular, not just chess with Levy, although I'm very thankful for the exposure I've gotten out of that for sure, and I think it's made for great content on top of that. Like, I think I occupy, like, I think I bring value to that situation. Let me put it that way. If you're not familiar, I've done some chess lessons with a noted, enormous chess streamer and YouTuber, Levi Rossman, who is an international master in his own right. To put it into context, being an international master is insanely impressive in chess. It is, you know, there is one level above it, Grandmaster, and then, you know, I think it's informal, but you could be a Super Grandmaster as well, which is like, I think over 2,800 ELO or something like that, but it's still like, you know, just because there's one level higher does not mean that it's not impressive. Like, it's a feat that takes, like, let me put it this way, this is not to, you know, be rude to, like, esports, but it's not like you just play online and then, like, you know, if your ELO is whatever, you're like, I'm diamond level. You know, you gotta, like, travel to in-person tournaments, defeat other people in, like, sanctioned events that are around your rating in order to earn this title, and, like, you know, you're playing, like, 17-day tournaments and stuff like that sometimes to make it happen. So he's extremely good, but I think I occupy kind of, like, a unique space, because, like, his own chess content, he makes it for, like, for a general audience, for sure. When he does lessons, it's usually for, like, people who are, you know, somewhat famous in another realm. Their rating tends to be on the lower side. I think I occupy an interesting space, maybe, of being kind of a little bit more on the intermediate side, and thus, you know, opening up a new avenue that is previously unexplored, perhaps, but maybe not. But the solo chess content, like, I can see for myself on the analytics side when it moons, and chess just I don't know why. I guess I gotta stop trying to look for a reason. Instead, just be like, you know what? I guess people just like it. But like, made for YouTube chess content, like people have a great appetite for it. Anyway, it feels good. Like it's very vindicating, I guess, you know, because like I had and by the way, there's a number of different analytics you could look to on YouTube, you know? Subscriber growth is a vanity number. Full stop, because, I mean, you've seen it. There's channels out there that have a third of my subscribers and get 10 times more views per video. There's channels out there that have 10 times my subscribers and get, like, you know, hundreds of views per video instead of tens of thousands, which is... It's just the way YouTube goes, you know? Subscriber number is not necessarily an indicator of how things are going. I think subscriber growth and where that growth is coming from can be indicative of, like, how the health of your channel is coming along. But, you know, my viewer numbers have always been pretty good, which is flattering. And I was like, you know what? I think the time is right to get a little vain. So I tweaked my YouTube strategy a little bit, and you know, there's been positive stuff about it. You know, whenever you come up with a new idea, we don't train ourselves in you know, society. We don't train ourselves to be like, hey, if somebody tells you that they have an idea, look for the positive stuff about it. Everybody's just like, look for the flaws at all times. So, you know, but it's like it's a flip side, I get. Or like I think we got it a little backwards. When it comes to new ideas, people are like, in my opinion, and I've been there, like I do it as well. It's human nature, right? When it comes to new ideas, people are like very critical. When it comes to the same old, people are not critical enough, you know? People will like literally eat fast food 5 times a week, and then if someone tells them about like a new diet, they're like, intermittent fasting, you know, the science isn't there. And you're like, yeah, I know. I mean, like, I don't know, I should say, but I'm sure that it's not perfect. At the same time, people are getting results out of it, and you're eating 5 Big Macs a week, man. You're really gonna, you know, somebody's making an effort to like change or improve their life in a way they think is gonna be better for them. I'm not saying you should just be like, you know, because sometimes people are going to be like, oh, I found this great new business. It's called, you know, insert multi-level marketing thing here. And then if, you know, if you're like, oh, good for you, they're going to be like, yeah, it would be good for me if you bought, you know, 100 pairs of leggings off of me. And you got to be like, ooh, new phone, who dis? But anyway, it's just vindicating to, like, you know, put yourself on a strategic line. And you'll hear some praise for sure, but you'll also hear some, like, you know, some friction. And then when the line starts to bear a little bit of fruit, that's where, like, you know, it's just euphoric. Because you're like, I knew I was right, you dummies. I don't know. Spite can be a powerful motivator. I'm not going to deny that. Anyway. But no, we're trying, and I think it's going very well, actually, but we're trying to, you know, make something for everybody. I think every week that we've done the new schedule on stream, things have gotten more and more entertaining. First week was great, don't get me wrong. Played a lot of Sporkle, played a lot of chess, people loved it, you know? Those videos did super well on YouTube, but there was a proportion of people who were like, I wish you'd do more gaming stuff. So you know what? In the past few weeks since then, we've done a lot more gaming stuff. You know, we started playing Death Stranding, playing a lot of Minecraft, brought back like a Northernlion Tries style segment where we look through new games on Steam to see what might tickle our fancy. And, you know, I managed to bring back a little bit of solo chess to YouTube as well, which people have been waiting for. Like, every week gets a little bit closer to, like, what my ideal is for this new setup that we got. Some of this stuff is going to work out nicely. And, you know, the other thing is, you know, some of this stuff works out differently on different platforms, right? The best example is RimWorld. And you just kind of, like, I've been doing this for a long time. I know how the business works, right? There's some stuff that pogs off on Twitch, dies on YouTube. Then there's vice versa. You know, like, what does well on YouTube but doesn't do that well on Twitch right now? Sporkle. It's kind of played out on Twitch, I think. For me, at least, people don't seem to want to see anymore. But whenever we do Sporkle on the stream and push it to YouTube, the analytics are, like, much higher. The opposite of that is RimWorld. Everybody enjoys RimWorld with me and Mouth and Sips while they're watching it on Twitch. When it comes to YouTube, it you know, it withers on the vine. But I don't really concern myself with that sort of stuff, you know? I think there is something to be said, like, you know, I occasionally have, like, and it sounds, like, more ambitious than it is, but occasionally I have, like, these content strategy meetings with YouTube. And, you know, they do sometimes... Why not, dude? Sure, okay. They do sometimes say things like, you know, like some of the videos do super well, some of the videos don't do so well. But if you, like, maybe, it seems like you're producing too much content, which I think is actually probably just true. You ever consider, like, you know, like, let me put it this way. It may benefit you in the algorithm if you cut some of the underperforming content and didn't put it on YouTube and instead, you know, focused on the stuff that did really well. I think there's a little nugget of truth that I try to implement in there, which is, like, if I look at the analytics for something and I see that it's, like, bad, then that's probably a cue that series should get, you know, axed at some point. Isaac is kind of the exception right now because we're... you know, burning the midnight oil until Repentance comes out. And the analytics on Isaac are not bad. They're just, you know, Isaac. So it's episode 3000 of the same thing. What do you expect? People are going to be like, oh, this one's the one people are really going to start tuning in for. It's not how it works, right? But, like, more, like, because I think there are people that, and again, it might work to my detriment, but, there is some kind of, like, wisdom that, like, you should have 2 YouTube channels, one of them for, like, stuff that's cut from Twitch and one of them that's for stuff that's bespoke for YouTube. I'm kind of the opinion, and it's not stubbornness, it's really just, you know, it's just the way I see it. I don't want you to have to go to 2 channels. I mean, there's pros and cons, like, if you're really hooked up to the, you know, if you're in the know about what we're doing, then you're like, no problem. That would separate, and then I would know that the stuff on, you know, NL Plays is stuff that I, you know, might have already seen on the Twitch channel. Sure, I understand that element as well. But I don't know. Really, like, the stuff that, like, I upload on YouTube that I know is not gonna perform very well, I don't really do it for the performance. I do it because I know that there's, like, you know, even if it's only a relatively small amount of people, I know that there's people out there that are like, you know, I want to see this, but at the same time, I'm not a big fan of the Twitch VOD player, so I just, you know, why not? I don't see it as a loss. I just see it as a, you know, a smaller, maybe gain, if that makes sense. But anyway, long story short, things are going really well right now, you know? I'm happy to, happy to find that people are enjoying it, and you know, appreciative. Obviously, not everybody's going to be in that boat. Like, you know, there are some people that are going to be like, man, I really wish you'd go back to making like a bespoke Spelunky 2 every single day. Honestly, I kind of wish I had the time for it because it's fun content as well. But you know, I think that having had a little patience through the opening. Wasn't even really that turbulent because it went pretty well right from the get-go, but having a little patience and recognizing that, you know, the way things are on January the 1st isn't necessarily how they're going to be, you know, on April 17th, 2025, and, you know, it's a constant adjustment to feedback and stuff like that, you know, and hopefully now you see where I was going with that. Or you're like, all I watch is Isaac because I'm sick of the I'm sick of the chess and the Hitman and the RimWorld as well, and the Death Stranding. There's nothing for me, and the Sporkle. I don't like Sporkle. I'm also sick of the new segment, The Lion's Den, where you go through Steam. I don't want that. What happened to the variety? You used to play the same 3 games over and over. Now you're playing a different game every single day. Where's the variety? Okay, sorry. I'm trying to delete it. Every once in a while, it just sneaks out. We are almost done with this run, though. This, again, I'm not, like, super upset. Like, the run is good, and it's pretty stable, it's pretty strong. Our HP is not necessarily where I'd love it to be, but we do have Book of Revelations, and, you know, we threw away our HP. Like, every single deal with the devil we got on this run, I'm pretty sure we had a Curse of the Blind on, which is very ambitious to still take them, but... Ooh, that's very good stuff. Very good stuff indeed. But still, a good run. I wouldn't have minded if maybe we got a little bit more in the damage department, but you can't always get what you want in that respect. And it's not bad, you know. We are, you know, it's 8 damage. We start complaining about 8 damage, it's going to start falling on deaf ears a little bit, but it's 13 rate of fire is the real, you know, the snooze aspect of that, if you will. But yeah, so the subscriber milestone, I wasn't deliberately avoiding it. I just got, you know, sometimes I'm guilty of getting a little too, you know, up my own, you know what, about, you know, speaking about the business of not caring about the business. But yeah, the subscriber milestone for 850 is like a tier list, or at least an evaluation of every item in Isaac. I say an evaluation instead of a tier list because of the fact that, like, I don't know if anyone's made a tier maker for every item in Isaac, but importing every single JPEG for every single item in the game would probably take like 20 hours. So might just like scroll through the item list and be like, this is, you know, A to F tier, or S to F tier even. But yeah, it's coming. We're gonna do it on stream. It'll probably take an entire stream one day, but I think it's worth it for the meme. For now, thanks for watching. Hope you guys have enjoyed the episode. If you did, click the like button. Helps out a great deal. Of course, subscribe if you want to see more in the future. For now, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya!